Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Blessing, and today we're going to be talking about 20 things that I have learned in my 20s. I want to start off by saying that I'm still in my early 20s, so this list may or will change as I grow older. But as of now, these are 20 things that I've learned, and I think everyone else should know in their 20s.
Now me be one for you now. Say every morning, every night, every day.
Starting off with number one, the most insecure people seem to be the ones that criticize people the harshest. Now, this has been something that I had to watch, sit back, and observe. Because think about it, right? If I'm happy, I'm content with who I am. I'm not worried about what anyone else is doing. Why do I need to go out of my way to call out other people's insecurities or lack of, or anything that just may stick out that I do not deem acceptable? That's their life, that's their body, that's their choice. I'm in my own path. And it's really something that you really have to sit back and watch. Watch people. People who criticize, people who judge, people who are just so bothered by other people's decisions tend to be the most insecure people. Number two, people know exactly what they're doing. I said this in a TikTok video, actually around this time last year. It was this trending conversation on TikTok that people just couldn't be friends with non-confrontational people. And don't get me wrong, I'm a very assertive person, but my point was people know exactly what they're doing. So why is it that when you do someone wrong, you're expecting for that person who you wronged to now tap you on the shoulder like, hey, you stepped on my foot. Did you not feel their foot underneath yours when you were stepping on it? You knew what you were doing. I know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. I would hope you knew that I know what you're doing, because I do know. Only an idiot wouldn't. When people show you who they are, believe them, move out their way, and keep it pushing. Because I don't have time for all that. Oh, you stepped on my foot. Can you say sorry? That's a waste of time. Like, I'm not going to tap you on your shoulder to ask for an apology. That's not going to be genuine. Please, let's find something productive to do with our time. Thank you. Number three. So this kind of goes with number two. It's stop being passive aggressive. Like I said before, I'm a very assertive person, and I think that kind of like surprises a lot of people, especially men, because I'm a woman and a lot of women do tend to be passive aggressive. But just say what you want, say what you mean, and keep it pushing. People will respect you so much more when you just say what's on your mind. And you, don't get me wrong, there's a time and place for everything. But when, example, like if your friends ask you to go out and you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know to what, like, and you know you want to say no, and I'm getting the vibe that you want to say no, just say no. Just say no. Why are you, it's like you want me to say no for you. Please. Should I just take your mouth as well? Because what's the point of you having a mouth? I just find that people respect you a lot more when you become an assertive person. Know what you want, say what you mean, keep it pushing. Number four, stop waiting for people to do things with you. Just do it by yourself. I kind of learned this last year. Like, I have never been the person that has like a group of friends where I can like text a group chat like, hey y'all, let's do this. Don't get me wrong, I have like my work friends and this and that, but like I've just never had that like main core group where I can be like, let's do this. So I tend to just do it by myself. I want to go see a movie, I'm gonna go by myself. I want to go to dinner, I'm gonna go to dinner by myself. I want sushi, I'm gonna go get sushi by myself. I want to go get a few drinks, I'm gonna go sit at the bar by myself. And I find that when I'm alone, I meet the most interesting people. Like, also the chances of you getting approached when you're alone are much higher than if you were in a group, because it tends to be a little bit more intimidating. But honestly, when I go out by myself, I meet the most interesting people. I make the most I meet the most interesting people and have the best memories. Stop waiting for people to do things with you. Just do it by yourself. Because imagine having to put your life on hold for someone else. There's no such thing as pressing a pause button on your life to wait for someone else to catch up with you. No, we keep going. And honestly, that can inspire other people to like get out of their shell and go ahead and do things on their own too. Stop making assumptions. When I was younger, a instructor of mine once told me, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Imagine grabbing something out of thin air and trying to place it into reality. And now that person has to remind you that this isn't cohesive with the timeline. It's just not true. And now you feel silly. So don't assume. For your sake of embarrassment and for that other person, because I'm sure nobody wants to embarrass anybody and nobody wants to feel embarrassed. So for everyone's sake, stop assuming, just ask questions. This also kind of goes with number 3. The next one is going to be confidence is everything. People who come off unsure of themselves, it's a bit cringy. It's a bit unsettling because if you're unsure of yourself, I'm unsure of you as well. So I don't know what you're capable of. And you never really know what people are capable of, but how can you trust somebody who doesn't even trust themselves? Shoo, get away. I'm about to quote someone right now and I'm not sure who it is, and I may be paraphrasing a little bit, but I believe it goes, you should not trust anyone who does not know who they are. They themselves don't know what they're capable of doing. And that is nothing but the truth. If you can't trust yourself, I can't trust you. Like, shoo, go away. You're scaring me. You don't know what you want. Ooh. There's another quote as well too. You're scared of people who are also scared of people. When confident people see other people putting themselves out there and being confident, they want to give you a high five. Unlike people who are judging you or raising a brow, those people are probably not happy with themselves. Going back to point 1, the most insecure people criticize others the harshest. Once you're confident, like, you just automatically become brighter. You just gain infinite amount of aura points. Confidence is everything. Number 7, stop being late. The same instructor that I quoted before also used to tell me, if you're not 10 minutes early, you're late. And that always replays in my head. Don't get me wrong, I am not perfect, but when I am running late, I try to let whoever I'm going to or meeting up with know at least an hour to 45 minutes ahead. With me being a service provider as well, I have been on the receiving end of this, and I understand how disrespected you could feel when somebody is late to an appointment or just late to an event or whatever you're doing. Calling ahead of time will just save you will just save you a little bit of grace. Though I'm still looking at you like you don't respect my time, but at least you had the courtesy to call ahead. When you enter a situation, we'll say in a haste or in a hurry and you're just flustered, it doesn't feel good. It does not feel good at all. You just feel unorganized and not prepared. All this can be solved if you just showed up early, recouped, breathe, decompressed in your car and mentally prepare yourself for whatever you're going into. Number 8 is going to be stop taking people so serious. People are wearing masks all the time. You will never really know who a person really is until they're behind closed doors. And most of the time, if not all the time, nobody else is behind closed doors with them. Was he a psychologist or a sociologist? But his name is Erving Goffman, and he created this sociological theory that everything is a performance. I believe the theory is called dramaturgy, and you have front stage and backstage. Front stage is when you are interacting with somebody, you're talking to them, you're performing, you're playing the role of whoever you are to that person. Backstage would be when you're in your car driving by yourself, when you're in the shower, when you're in the bathroom, when you're literally in your own solitude and you have no one else around and you could just be your authentic self. So whenever I'm like interacting or when I'm in a serious situation, to ease my nerves or to just make me feel a little bit more comfortable about what's going on at hand, I always remember that everything's a performance. They're playing their role, you play your role, and you'll be fine. And this kind of coincides with the saying, they're acting out of character. When someone does something surprising or uncalled for, someone may say, oh, they're acting out of character, but they're just not going off the script that you had prepared for them in your head. Life is nothing but a performance and a play. Number 9, learn to accept the truth and move on. Okay? Just move on with your life. Stop dwelling on it. Honestly, people lie. People lie, men lie, women lie, we all lie. For what reason? The world may never know. I think we actually do know the reason, but anyways. When you can accept the truth and just be content with yourself and still be able to put a smile on your face and not let it ruin your day or your world, you become a very powerful individual. So learn to accept the truth and just move on. Number 10, nobody is coming to save you. Honestly, and I can't, no. I'm not even gonna say I can't blame y'all, but there has been this fairy tale and princess propaganda that has been pushed on kids who grow up to be very delusional human beings, expecting for somebody, especially a man, to come and rescue you. Nothing in this world comes free, okay? Why would you want to put your life in the hands of another person so they can feel like you owe them something for saving you? Nar. Get up, please. Do it yourself. Do it yourself. End of story. Just do it yourself. I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm not gonna hold your hand, actually. Forget all that. Disney lied to you. The fairy tales, they lied. Nobody's coming to save you. Get up. Okay? Get your own, get your education, get your own money. Do it yourself. People will respect you a lot more. Number 11, learn how to alchemize energy. Being able to transmute energy from bad to good is the most powerful thing an individual can learn how to do. When people are giving you all this hate, jealousy, all these negative emotions and vibrations, learn to use that to fuel you to be better, fuel you to motivate you to get what you want. There's this book that I'm reading right now called The Kybalion. It's on Hermetic philosophy. I'm going to read you a quote from it. Mastery consists not in abnormal dreams, visions, and fantastic imaginings or living, but in using the higher forces against the lower, escaping the pains of the lower planes by vibrating on the higher. Remember always, student, that transmutation, not presumptuous denial, is the weapon of the master. The above quotations are from the Kybalion and are worthy of being committed to memory by the student. The way this book articulates all these philosophical ideas, it literally breaks it down so easy for anyone to grasp it, and being able to apply these teachings into your life will transform you. I recommend anyone reading this book. If you're not a reader, it's a really short read. It's only 144 pages, and it's not a really big book. The printing, I don't know if y'all can see, it's too bright. I have all these tabs on the sides for things that really stuck out to me and lessons that I find really powerful. Learning how to take bad and turn it into good for your good and for the good of others will save you so much in this life. Number 12, read. Read. Find what you like to read about. Find anything that interests you and just read about it. When you read, you exercise the skill of thinking, which is then going to sharpen your mind. Growing up, I hated reading, and I think it's because it was kind of forced on me as a child. Like, on top of summer reading, I remember my dad would always have my siblings and I read a book, and like, I remember just, you'd be sitting watching TV and he's like, shut it off, go read a book. And to me, reading seems like a punishment almost. And because I associated reading with being a punishment, I didn't enjoy reading. It wasn't fun for me. I think it was like junior, senior year of high school and freshman year of college, I actually started to enjoy reading, and now it's just something that I do all the time. Reading is very important to me, and I think everybody should read. Number 13, people are in your life for a reason or a season. Stop attaching yourself to people. Do not attach yourself to people to the point where you feel like you cannot live without them, because there's going to come a day where you're going to have to live without them, and it's not going to be an easy ride for you. Everybody is in your life for an experience. Enjoy your time with them. Enjoy the experience. And when it's time to let it go, you let go. Number 14, stop thinking you have time. Stop procrastinating. You don't have time. In fact, you're running out of it. Yeah, you're running out of it. Don't watch the clock. Just do what it does. Keep going. Keep going. That's another quote I saw. I don't know where I saw that, but yeah. Stop thinking you have time. Number 15. Nobody thinks about you as much as you think about yourself. Nobody thinks about you as much as they think about themselves. I hope I said that right. Either or. Stop thinking about people more than you think about yourself, okay? Don't be so much of a people pleaser. Number 16. Stop taking advice from everyone, okay? Especially people who you don't want to be like. Why are you taking advice from someone you don't want to be like? Stop taking advice from people just because they're older than you. There are people who have been on this earth longer than you have, longer than I have, who are kind of dumb. Dumber than you and dumber than I. So stop taking advice from people. I'm not saying don't have an open ear. Of course, always have an open ear, because sometimes the prettiest gems do come out of the mud. As far as applying everything that you hear from everyone into your life, you have to have discernment. Number 17, stop living in shame. When people have nothing to shame you about, the laughs on you. You get to laugh last. There are people out here who are unhappy with themselves, don't like the lives that they live, and to make them feel a little better about themselves, they try to call you out on things that they think that you should be ashamed of. And for them, they look at it as something that's reassuring to them, like they're not doing as bad because someone who seems to be living a perfect life or seems to be happy isn't as happy because they have these things that they should be ashamed about. No. There's nothing, you want to make sure there's nothing somebody can shame you about. You need to accept yourself to the fullest. That way you have no room for shame. I'm not saying you should be proud of every mistake that you've made, but understand that you are human. You do have a past, but you do not identify with that past self. You are who you are right now. Number 18, say less. Every time you open your mouth to say something, you're doing one of two things. You're either revealing how dumb you are or revealing how intelligent you are. You don't need to prove your intelligence, but you also don't need to prove how dumb you are. And no one's going to really know where you lie between the two if you don't say too much. So don't say too much. So just stop saying too much. Stop explaining yourself. Stop giving excuses. Just give the short answer to everything, okay? And if they want to know more, they'll ask. But most of the time, people really don't care to know more. Number 19, mindfulness. Mindfulness is so important to me. This is something I incorporate into my schedule every day, to just sit in silence and quiet my mind. And you could do this through meditation, through yoga. I do this through both of them, yoga and meditation, through journaling. Just quieting your mind. I don't think you can really do it through journaling, but because you're like brain dumping at that point. But personally for me, I do this through yoga and meditation. There's a whole video I could make about the benefits of meditation and practicing mindfulness, but for the sake of this one, I'll keep it short. Picture your mind as a train station, and the trains that come in and leave are your thoughts. So you're sitting in the middle of this train station and you're watching these trains arrive and depart, and it's up to you to either sit and observe these trains or to stand up and get on these trains. And the same way with your thoughts. It's up to you to just sit and observe these thoughts and acknowledge them for what they are, just the thoughts, or you can run with these thoughts and now you're no longer here anymore. You're gone, no longer in this present moment. You can either sit and observe these trains, or you can get on the train and you'll be gone, no longer here anymore. Being able to quiet your mind and just observe everything that's going on and acknowledge it for just that's what it's going on and not bring it into reality is a powerful skill. I've said powerful like how many times in this video, but it's true. Ending off with number 20. This one's kind of cliche, but it's so true. Life is unfair. We do not start at the same starting point, and we don't finish at the same finish line. We all have these unfair advantages in life, and it's up to you to figure out what your unfair advantage is and embrace it and use it to your advantage to become who you want to be in this life, whether it be your looks, your brain, your style, your money, the family you were born into. We all have these unfair advantages in life, and it's just how life goes. You know, instead of envying or focusing on what you lack, focus on what you have and use it to your advantage. So that pretty much wraps up the video. Thank you so much if you stayed till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.